Hello and welcome to Mag Podcast, January the 30th, 2020. This week we've got a absolutely stacked episode with you. We're going to be speaking to Beth from Unleashed Events, and then we're going to go with the news from movies to anime to gaming to convention news as well. So, without further ado, let's get this episode started, shall we? Okay, like I said before, we've got an absolute stacked episode this week for you. But before we do anything else, I just want to give a shout out to the people who have been supporting the show. So that's people over at Bad Fish Merch and the podcast of Higurashi. I'll let them explain what they do.
Have you ever thought that should be on a t-shirt? Well, now it can. At Badfish Studio, we create one-of-a-kind t-shirts, hoodies and more from just £15. Get a favourite slogan, awesome picture or anything in between and wear it around town. It's less commitment than a tattoo.
We can do full colour images or bold colour vinyl, including metallic, leather and carbon fibre look, glow in the dark, reflective and even rainbow or glitter for all you snazzy unicorns out there.
Because we love you, the podcast community, we want to give you 10% off your order by using the code MAG1. Oh, and if you are content creators, we have free merchandise options that will help you start making money from your labour of love.
So shoot us a message on Facebook at Badfish Merch, Instagram at Badfish Studio, or fill in the form at www.badfishmerch.com. Badfish Studio. Be unique, be badfish.
Come check out Geek Era Podcast. While an Irish person and two English co-hosts talk about anime and the convention highlights of what's happening around us on an international basis. Sick of hearing about Gamergate? Sick about your favorite anime being called as a Nazi propaganda? Why not check out Geek Era Podcast? We have news, interviews, and convention highlights. So check us out wherever you can find a podcast, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify.
So I just want to say thank you very much to the people over at Badfish Merch and Higurashi for taking the time to make that little ad thing, you could call it. If you guys want to support either one of those, links as always are in the description. And if you use the code MAG1 on the on the Badfish Merch site, you get a 10% discount, which helps them, helps the show, it helps everybody really. So, yeah, good guys, go and support them. So with that said, let's go over to the interview. This week we have an interview with Beth, who is a representative from Unleashed Events up in the north of England. So, without further ado, I'll let the interview begin. So I'm here with Beth from Unleashed Events. If you could just say hello.
Hello.
Hello. There we go. I'm just going to go right to start by saying, it's like, how did Unleashed Events become, really? How did it start?
So it started all with a shop called Hunter's Toys. It all started from there. So it started off with like little events in the shops, and then eventually grew into like in the little small venues, and then eventually into bigger ones.
Right.
I can't even remember what year it was, but it was 2013.
Well, I've got to say that you can go for 9 years, so I don't know. Maybe 2010 or 2011, so that way. That's
11. It would have been 11. Like I'm saying, I'm like one of the newest. Well, I'm one of the newish members, so yeah, Levine, yeah.
Yeah, because I've got like, I looked at your Facebook thing and it said like you started in like your Facebook thing started in 2011, so I'm kind of going on that kind of idea really of how that started. That's the year that started. Like I said, you've been going for 9 years. How hasn't it grown from the first year or the first event that you did? Because you've done loads.
It's grown actually dramatically. Definitely on like the numbers of obviously people attending the events, with them being adult, with them being obviously family friendly, which is what we aim to do. Obviously our trader list has grown dramatically over the years as well. We've had like big guests, but I think it's all down to the community, really, the community that we've kind of built over those 9 years. So it's been incredible, actually. Really has been incredible. Like I'm saying, that came in when it was just starting to blow up, really.
Right.
There was some difficult times, but we got there. We got through it all. But like I'm saying, we're like one big family, and you kind of see them at the events.
Oh, I mean, like you said yourself, you have tricky issues to start off, don't you, with any event, and then it just keeps. Yeah. It gets, if you can get through that, you can get through anything, sort of thing.
Yeah.
What would you say makes like Unleashed comic conventions or events different from other events that have happened, that you've seen, basically, or?
So what makes Unleashed different is definitely we are mainly focused on the family-friendly side of it. So we do have a lot of activities for the young ones to do, obviously for the adults as well. We've got panels which are interesting for both adults and children. We've obviously got the characters, but most importantly, I think for me as well, we have kind of a nice little community. Like I'm saying, you'll see it as you go into one of our events. You'll see that people, they'll say hello to traders that they know, and like cosplayers that they know. And to be honest, Unleashed events is like a really good day out. That's the way that I kind of describe it. And sometimes, because I've been to bigger events, you sometimes don't get that. It kind of feels a little hostile. But you don't get that at Unleashed events. You feel like you're just in a safe place.
Like I said, Unleashed has got like events up and down the country. Like, how do you decide like what event, where to put an Unleashed event? Do you have like a certain criteria?
Not really. I think it all depends on obviously what venue we're able to get. Obviously, if there has been interest, or obviously, like I was saying, we kind of do rely on people's suggestions as well. So. We do often, after the end of our event, put like a little sort of like comment. We send it out. We've got that on our page. We do read through the messages, but I think it just depends on the venue. If people are obviously interested, and obviously the cost as well. Cost is a very big thing with events, but I think it's just like it's areas that we're interested in doing, and do the research and then do it. Like I'm saying, this year we've got 2 events which I'm quite happy, because I'm from Sunderland and Durham. So we've got 2 events. I've got one literally just down the road from me and one up like along the road. So but it was just the same thing. We had to do a lot of research because of the numbers of people that come to our events and that would be willing to travel. Because for the Durham one, the amount of people who actually want to travel on a Sunday is incredible. So we went for a bigger venue. And it's definitely, that's what we've taken into account as well.
Do you ever consider, like, when you look into events, do you ever go like the size of the place? So like you've got one in, I think, Sheffield, I think it is, in October. Do you look at that and go like, okay, that's gonna have a lot of people interested, and then there's one in a smaller place, you go, that might not be as big as. Do you look at the populations?
It depends on the time of the year as well, I think, obviously, with conventions. So we tend to try and do the smaller ones when it's kind of like out of peak. That's one word I would describe it as. So we have our biggest event, which is at got Racecourse, and that fills up the whole floors that we've got the Racecourse. And then we have our small ones. Obviously, we've got one coming up in 2 weeks' time. 3 weeks. Hang on.
3 weeks, I think.
2 weeks. 2 weeks time. In 2 weeks' time, and that's at a university hub.
Okay.
At Teesside. So that is a small venue, but you would be surprised the amount of people can actually get in that small venue.
Yeah, well, like the.
So it just depends. It depends on like the peak times. So February tends to be like the slow start of people getting ready back into the convention.
I think like we've
to take into account.
I remember like the first convention I went to was Wales Comic Con in Wrexham, and it was basically you could fit everything into the sports hall, and it was like really small, but it was really cool, intimate. And now it's like it's gotten so big they've had to move it to Telford in England down the road just to make sure I get everybody in. So I say where you're coming from. Sorry, I've lost my there we go. I say you've got an event in October. Is that the last one of the year? Is it, or do you have?
We tend to try to. We did one in November last year at Whitby.
Okay.
Which was it was kind of like our event, but we also were doing a little bit of charity fundraising.
Right.
Because we got asked to go along, so it tends to be October. Maybe we'll have one in November, but it obviously just depends on if there's any interest really.
Sort of thing.
Yeah. Like November tends to be the time where everybody sorts of
dies.
Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas, and everyone's just so focused on getting Christmas done and everything. So, yeah. You've been going for 9 years, but you've only going for like a few years on the events. Do you have like a favourite memory from an event?
Oh, now
I love asking this question.
I think by far I've actually got two really.
Okay.
So the first one was York 2 years ago. We got the lovely David Bradley.
Okay.
And the night before, I didn't actually expect to have this, but I managed to have like sort of 15 minutes, me and my friend just sitting, just talking all night with him.
Yeah.
And then at the event, obviously we do have quite a big team hold on that day.
Yeah, yeah.
But I obviously got message through just saying go upstairs and see if everybody's free. So one of our team members had to go and take one of the guests to the airport, and luckily for me, I got to look after David Bradley for the last 15 minutes. So there's a lovely photograph that I just love him because he is honestly, he's like a granddad. That's the only way I can describe him. Got to like meet him. And then the other one is we managed to get, and I knew from like 6 months before he was even announced for the event, but we got Adam Basil, who was the stunt double in Beauty and the Beast. If anybody knows
the
me,
new one
I
is
love
actually
Beauty
hold on. The new one, just out of curiosity, so that everyone knows, is that the new one?
Yes,
is it?
the 2017 version of
just so there's no confusion.
It is, not the musical.
Not the musical.
So the movie had just come out, so I just thought, I went, yes, just book him. And honestly, Adam was a pleasure to meet. If he doesn't often do events, but he's a really, really nice guy. And like I'm saying, I've had him at a couple of events, and like I'm saying, that's the best thing about our guests as well. Our guests are very engaging with the fans and people who are seeing them.
Yeah,
and they're just really down to earth as well.
Yeah, I think we get like I've been to a few events where it's been like you can tell the guests don't want to be there, and then there's a few that are just like, they'll like.
I've seen a couple of that last year. I actually seen a guest. So I was leaving from an event, and the guest was actually like, he just came out of the town and was walked back to the event now, and that was bad.
Yeah,
that's actually bad if the guest walked out and then comes back for the last few minutes.
I think we had I remember one guest that was I think it was Jason Momoa, so it was the Aquaman, but he's in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And he never stood. Every time I saw him, he never stood down. He never sat down. Sorry, he just literally just standing up, talking to absolutely everybody all the way through, and giving hugs out and selfies and all the rest of it. And I was just thinking, wow, that's amazing. Like, you have that kind of just passion to meet people, meet your fans, basically. That's a cool person. It's like,
that's what David Bradley was. He literally stood from about 10 o'clock right up until 5, and I decided I went, how are you even doing this? But he was just exactly the same, just willing to take selfies with people, willing to sort of talk to people, and it was just, I love it when I see a guest that engaging.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some promo stuff now. Sorry. If someone's listening to this now and wants to start making a comic convention, what advice would you give them?
research. I would definitely do research. Obviously, see if there's interest in the area.
Right.
That's a good one. Obviously, have a look about and see if there's any venues. Look for small venues like the town hall. You cannot go wrong with the town hall. We've done one in a town hall and it actually did really, really well. I think as well. Look at your like what expenses you've got as well.
Right.
Because sometimes you're going to take a hit or you're going to make.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, always do your research. I think that's the most important bit. Okay. Do your research. What you can afford. You like even if you're doing your first one, you don't go for guests. Go do like a trade type convention.
Right.
And then eventually grow up.
Yeah.
So, for example, there could be some cosplayers in the area
who are just like, oh, yeah. Let me
I'll do it.
I'll join in.
You can kind of grow on that as well. So obviously they're obviously willing to come in and do it. But yeah, I would definitely say research. Okay. See what you've got.
Yeah. So now I'm going to ask you how can people find Unleashed events on the old internet?
So how you can find us is, I'm going to have a little look because I'm not sure. I think it's unleashedevents.com. I'll have a little look at that.
Okay.
Oh my god, I was saying I've been asked that, but we'll call Unleashed Events on Facebook.
Yeah.
We currently are looking in the process of getting an Instagram so that we can post things up, because we did have one but we'd end up getting deleted.
Ooh.
Yeah. We don't know what happened, it just ended up getting closed. It got closed down. So we have, it's unleashedtickets.co.uk and that has everything on there. So we have our events are on there. We've got past guests that we've had. Obviously, you can leave your reviews on there. The reviews is what we do read and we do take into account. And we do even have a Comic-Con survival guide, which we do definitely need one.
Yeah. I was like, I've seen a few events where they have like a panel there where it's basically con survival. It's like half an hour. And I was like, that's a good idea, but have it in the book. Like, in the comic book sort of thing. It'd be great. Go on, carry on, Ollie.
Yep, so we're on, it's Facebook, Unleashed Events, and then we're also online by unleashedtickets.co.uk, and you can also purchase your tickets from there as well. We do have a general entry and a priority entry for early bird tickets. I would definitely keep in touch and online on our Facebook, because our Facebook's definitely the one that we do post more on, so Unleashed Events on Facebook.
Yeah. Alright, well I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time to be interviewed. I'll get back to whatever you were doing. And problem. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. So I just want to say thank you very much for Beth for taking the time to be interviewed. As always, links to their stuff are in the description, as well as their site, Facebooks, and all that other good stuff. So cool. Switching gears now, we're going to be speaking about the stuff that's been going on in the news, and there is a fair bit to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. Okay, we're going to start off with something interesting, I should say. As reported by Variety, Mean Girls is getting a reboot. Now, you may be thinking, well, hang on, it's not what you think. It's a reboot to the musical, I could call it. So it's like a reboot, remake of the musical, which was based on a movie. Weird. But anyway, the reboot is happening. Tina Fey, Jeff Richards, and Neil Benjamin are adapting the stage show into a movie. So yeah, once again, Loam Michaels is going to be producing them. I think, yeah, producing both versions, so you guys can enjoy them. No date on yet, but it is being distributed by Paramount, so keep your eyes on that. keeping with the reboot themes, Transformers is kind of getting a reboot of sorts. There's two Variety reporting that there is two films, separate films, but kind of connected in the works. No yet on what it actually will be. But we have the James Vanderbilt, who is the writer of The Amazing Spider-Man, the Sony reboot, and who also wrote the Independence Day: The Resurgence. And there's also, because there's two versions, there's one by Joby Harland, who produced John Wick 3 and Robin Hood. So yeah, again, no date on if it's going to be released or what's happening with it. Variety are just reporting that it's happening, so nothing yet at the moment. But we'll keep you in touch if we hear anything. Also, keeping with news, but a slightly detour on it, the Oscars are coming up, so we will be I will have an article on the site about the what's who won what. So yeah, there is an article on there on the site already if you wanted to go and check out who is nominated for what. Yeah, so comment and let me know on who you think will win what in this year's Oscars. I'm always intrigued to find out who's winning, who what everyone thinks is going to win. Personally, I think Joaquin Phoenix has got to win Best Actor. If it doesn't, it's an absolute shame because that Joker film was amazing. But that's my personal opinion. Anyway, before I go off track, in video game news, it is delayed city in video games news. We've had the Final Fantasy VII Remake got delayed for a month until April the 20th to 2020. To quote the publisher, they said they just need time to polish the game, which I will find absolutely fine. That's according to the actual Square Twitter feed as well. Also in the delay city is Cyberpunk 2070, which is getting delayed until September 17th, 2020. The reason is, according to CD Projekt Red's Twitter post, they said they just want to make it perfect. So basically, I think it's just they want to polish it a bit more, iron out the kinks. That's fine. And lastly but not least, Dying Light 2 has been delayed indefinitely. Now, they've said indefinitely. I don't know when it's going to be, if it's even going to come back. They've just said they would like more time to develop it. Now, I could be wrong in thinking this, and please quote me in the comments if I've got it right or wrong. But hasn't Dying Light been around for quite a while? It's been delayed a few times, I think, if memory serves me right. Anyway, you guys can leave that in the comments, see if I'm right or I'm wrong. You can also comment on there what you think of all these delays, and we can have a good old chat about them in the comments. So, moving over to anime news, the original isekai, Log Horizon, is coming back for a third season in October 2020. The title of it will be Log Horizon Fall of the Round Table. No other news yet at the moment. I think this I've had read on the Anime News Network site that they are bringing back the original cast, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's coming out. It's something to look forward to in October. No exact date, but just October this year. Speaking of a third season and the original cast, When They Cry is getting a season 3. They have announced that the original cast is coming back, but no word yet on the release date. So, if you've not seen that, you've got about maybe a month or a few months to catch up with the first 2 seasons. Love Life is getting a new anime. As far as I am aware, no other words have been announced. All I know is that the original cast is back, plus they're having a new cast member in there for a new character, I'm guessing. So yeah, it's going to be going on a slight detour slightly here. It is release season, so we have 2 major releases that are coming in 2020. We have My Teen Romantic comedy snafu anime is coming for season 3 and it premieres on April the 9th. And also we got The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime season 2 is coming in October of 2020. If you've not already checked that out, I recommend. That's a really good anime. Reviews of my review of it is in the description below in the links. In convention news, we have quite a big list actually to go through. Alcon Revival has announced that you can register for the event for this year's event. Their guest of honour is Brian Beacock, who has been in many shows including Digimon, Naruto, Bleach, Durarararara, Doraemon, Blue Exorcist, Bakro Stage Jogs, Code Geass, Blue Dragon, Toradora, JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, Dragon Ball Super, and Sailor Moon. My god, that's a list. So yeah, loads of stuff has been in there. If you're having a bit of a unsure about the event itself, you can go and read the review I did for it last year. I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, links as to my review and where you can register for this year's event are in the description. Keeping with comic convention news, Wales Comic Con drip feeds names for their April event. I was going to announce or tell you who they all are, but the list is so dang long it would take forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go put links in the description to my review of last event, the last World's Comic Con, and this year's one, so you can have an idea of what to expect. Also as well is Amicon has announced Amicon Nottingham, has announced that they've got 2 guests, which is Jason Mowers, who is Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, and Blake Harrison, who is from The In-Betweeners. So yeah, links are in the description again if you want to check out their stuff. As I've always said, there's loads of conventions happening through the month of February. You can check out the website at www.magpodcast.co.uk to check out a list on the side of all the conventions that's happening up and down the country. There is a load, so you guys can go and check out if there's one in your local area. So yeah, if you made it this far to the end of the episode, I just want to say thank you very much. This means a lot. This has been a lot of work. So yeah, if you guys want to support the show and just say your own personal thanks, you can drop us a share or a pound or something on our Ko-fi page, which helps us support the show and keeps the thing going for as long as you want to keep it going for. Yeah, so if you want to check out all the descriptions to all the stuff we have done talk about today, links as always are in the description, as well as my page to the Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram, the Ko-fi page, the YouTube, and all that other good stuff. So yeah, the next episode will be on the February the 15th, 2020, and we will have a Kitty cosplay. So yeah, you guys can check that out when it comes out on February the 15th. So yeah, I just want to say thank you very much again for listening to Mag Podcast UK. The next one will be on the 15th of February, and I will see you guys there. So bye.